So this is my newest project now. I just picked up yesterday. It's a 91 Ford Ranger. So it's got the 4-liter, 5-speed, electric shift transfer case, 4-wheel drive with a 4-inch rough country lift on it. So that's kind of the basics on it. It's an XLT. So it's got air conditioning, cruise control, all that stuff. Kind of do a little quick walk around. This side is very clean right here. It's just a small little ding right here in the rocker panel. And then the rest of it's pretty clean. And then you come around the front. It's very clean. The previous owner just hung this little piston off here, so I'll just have to unbolt that and then that'll be gone. The only other thing is this front fender has a pretty little dent right here and a little dent right there. I don't know if those can be taken out paintless or what, but that's kind of the biggest dents in the truck other than that other one. When you come down the passenger side here, it has just a few little scrape marks down it. I don't know if the camera even picks them up, like through here, and a couple little scratches right there. Then this is probably the worst scratch right here at the tail light. That's that side here. The back, very clean. It has the holes from the aluminum plate that goes in there, but the aluminum plate's actually in the back of the truck. Just gotta get the screws to bolt that back on, and then that can go back on. So that's the outside of the truck. The inside here, when you open it up, it's got power windows, power door locks. Like I said, cruise, it's a 5-speed, and it has the electric shift transfer case, aftermarket radio. But it's a little dirty, I haven't cleaned anything up yet, but there's absolutely 0 cracks in this dash. And then all the seats are not torn, armrest isn't broken, very good shape. And then dome light works, all the doors work, all the windows work. Kind of the inside, just this needs to be bolted back down right here. And then that's that. Let me go underneath, show you a few things underneath there that need to be taken care of. I'll show you a couple of things I've found so far that I will need to address. So underneath, probably the biggest issue is there's no exhaust from the catalytic converter back. So I need to get a full exhaust put in on the back here. And then it also has what looks like the rear main seal leaking, because up underneath here is a pretty good sized oil leak. So I gotta get that fixed. And then the other big thing on this truck, I'll show you in here, that I have to address is it hasn't passed smog. So I need to get to pass smog here. So I'm coming out as a gross polluter, so I'll have to adjust that. But what it had was the hydrocarbons are high, and then the CO was high. So I don't know if it's because these RPMs right here are too low as part of it, because it has the 4-inch lift on 32s, and it's just running a 355 gear. So I don't know if it's causing the motor to lug a little bit. But I also found, let me pop the hood, I'll show you a couple other things I've found so far. So under the hood, the previous owner basically pointed out to me that back here is a vacuum line coming off back here that the little thing was broken on. And then same with on top of the motor right here, this end right here, there's another vacuum line down there. The little grommet that held them together were cracked and broken. So I got to pick up the pieces to put that in and get those adjusted. He also said that he replaced this part after he smogged it last time because it had a pretty good vacuum leak on the booster right there. So let me fire it up. It's a little loud, so I don't know how you'll hear it, but I'll show you how you can, one of the ways I find vacuum leaks to see if there's a leak somewhere. So hopefully you can hear that over the noise. But what I do is I just take the can of brake clean and I start spraying spots. So like I know there's that leak back there. You hear the engine RPM come up. So I kind of go through here, see if I got to find anything else leaking. I don't find any other vacuum leaks leaks over here. So anything that might be leaking, probably spray right back there. You can hear it go up. So that's that. Alright, so I got the truck up to temperature, did a couple of scans on it, and I started getting, hopefully you can read that code. So looks like maybe the O2 sensor is not working right, so I'm gonna go buy a new one of those. And then the second code I got, which I think is just was me, I wasn't really paying attention when I was running, is operator error on wide open throttle. So the RPMs go up when you hit it, but and I checked the throttle, so I didn't have to do that zip tie mod, because when you do floor it all the way, the throttle body does open up all the way. So one of the things I did find out though is something is up on the windshield wiper switch, because they stay on intermittent on low, so I had to pull the fuse so they're not constantly running. But so I'll have to get that fixed here too. But that's where we're at now. So I'm gonna go grab an O2 sensor. I already ordered all the exhaust parts. They'll be here in a few days, and then I'll get that on and go from there. All right, so I ended up swapping that O2 sensor out, and code came back up again when I restart the truck. So we'll see what happens after. Maybe I get a point where I can drive it a little bit, see if it comes back. The old O2 sensor looked fairly new as well, so hopefully there's not wire damage going to it. So then now I'm working on changing out this is the old indicator with the windshield wipers, so that they wouldn't turn off. So went and picked up a new one and bolt this in here. Obviously you can tell you gotta get the steering column out, or the steering wheel off to undo it. Just undo the clips, take off the screws. I did have to use a steering wheel puller to pull it. And I gotta see what's up. For some reason, I don't know why, but this column mechanism right here won't tilt with the steering column. So I'll play with that too once I get this all back together and see what's going on there. So I put all the steering back together. The tilt's just kind of gummed up. It was just dirty, so cleaned it up a little bit, and then probably hadn't been moved in years. So now it moves now. All the functions seem to be working with new switch now. So we'll put the fuse back in for the wipers, so now run on with the key turned on. So then I went over and I started jacking up the front end here, just checking for stuff. And I don't know if we'll be able to see it or not, or hear it, but this wheel bearing seems just a little bit loose. So the other side was nice and tight, everything looked good there. So I'm gonna pull this side apart and see what I find in there, see what's loose. Hopefully it's just the wheel bearing, just needs to be tightened up just a little bit, and the little stub on the lock ring hasn't been broken off. So pull that apart, see what I find. All right, so I pulled the side apart, checked it. That nut was just a little bit loose, so I tightened that up, got the play out of it, and then retorqued all that, put it all back together. What I did find, you can kind of see the grease on there, is the hub is this little O-ring on the back here is torn, so it's allowing the grease to get out of there. So I will need to figure out a way to replace that here soon. So see if I'll look up on Warren's website, see if they got the size on that. If not, see if I can go take it somewhere. All right, so the old O-ring was right there. That's all torn and stuff. So I'll have my wife take that and the hub down, the local hydraulic shop place. They kind of have all kinds of random stuff. But anyway, they were able to find the seal, this O-ring right here, to put on. So once I get it here, one hand. So fits right in perfect, and I was able to get like 4 of them for $10 versus the $48 for a kit on Warren's website. But it came with another O-ring and it came with a sticker. So whatever, don't need that. But so this is ready. So now I can put this hub back on and then get this wheel back on it. And then next I'm gonna pull all the spark plugs out of the motor, see how they look. I think the previous owner said he just replaced them, but I'm gonna double check them since I gotta try to get this thing distilled to smog. That's next. So I pulled all the spark plugs out to check them out. They are pretty new, so I'm gonna reuse them. All I had to do was the gaps was a little tight on it, instead of being the 054 that's recommended. They're all like 46 to 48. So I opened the gaps up a little bit on them. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those all back in, and then we'll probably start on the exhaust. So this is the exhaust I ordered from AutoZone. So it's the replacement stuff. In theory, I should just have put it together, then weld the two joints on the muffler on each end. You know, they're nice, and put this black foam stuff on each end. That's kind of a pain to get off of there. So I'll get that all cleaned off, and then looking under the truck, it looks like these mounts for all that stuff is still up there, so I can just hook it right back up, throw it up there, weld it, and it should be good. So see how that gets on there. All right, so got the new exhaust in. So it goes all the way back. Looks like factory. It actually fit pretty well for being aftermarket. I did have to get 2 new bolts here, since I didn't have those. So I put those in with a stover lock nut, so that hopefully they don't back off. So now I think I'm pretty much ready to go get this thing smogged. So see how that goes. So one of the problems these older trucks have is there's no cup holders in them. So what I did is I went on to Fusion 360, a couple quick measurements, and drew this up real quick. Printed out some PLA to see if it works, and if I like it, PETG, I'll print another one out. I just used up some extra rolls I had. What it does is this hooks onto the bottom of the seat, so it slides forward and back with the seat. It goes right here in the center. I'll show it next. And then I put a slot here for my cell phone to set it into, with the sides low enough that I can plug the charger in to keep it charged. I can already tell that I'm going to want to tilt this so the phone leans back more, but I designed it so that this can go in there, or my coffee mug or whatever can fit in there, and it gives me a good spot to do that. So to install it, all I have to do is pick up the front of the seat, take the front 2 bolts out, and then this hooks underneath. So I'll show you that next. All right, so there it is installed. It just hooks onto there. And then if I move the seat, it comes forward and back with the seat. So I'll make a few changes probably on the next one, but drive the truck around for a little while, see how I like that. But yeah, nice little easy cup holder. I think it should clear the shifter. I know it'll clear for myself, and I think even with my wife's driving, I don't think it should be hitting the shifter at all. So anyway, that's a quick cup holder right there. All right, so a little update on the truck here. So I fixed all those vacuum leaks, put the plugs in, changed the wires out because some of them, the boots were torn on. Took it in to try to smog it, still failed. So I brought it back, ended up trying 3 times, and it failed 3 times. And I changed out, I think, just about every sensor. I did coil packs, I did new spark plugs, I did crank positioning sensor, mass airflow sensor, idle air control valve. I can't remember what else I tried. I tried putting on small stock size tires to see if that would make it pass. The numbers kind of weren't changing at all. So finally, I determined that there had to be something else going on. Maybe there was a sensor not sending a code or whatever. So I pulled the computer out and looked at it. Didn't see anything that looked like it was fried or anything on that, even though it was running really well. So I took and started trying to track the wires down on the sensors, make sure everything was coming back to the computer, make sure there wasn't a sensor. So I pulled out the wiring diagram, and then I would check each wire for continuity back from the sensor from the connector. So as I was going through it, got to the oxygen sensor and realized that somebody had pulled the fuse out from under the dash for the heated oxygen sensor. Once I put that in, the thing passed with perfect numbers. So, I mean, hopefully you can read these numbers right here. It focuses on there. Yeah, I mean, the hydrocarbons were 15 and 10, where the max 123, 103. The CO levels were measured 0.01, 0.02, was allowed 0.5 and 0.6. So got it passed. So now it's legal for me to drive it, and now it's kind of become my daily driver. I still got to figure out that oil leak. I tried putting a new rear main seal in it, and I'm still getting a leak, so I ordered a detection kit. So I'll have to track that down next. But anyway, right now this is going to become my daily driver, so I'm not driving my diesel pickup truck around, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching.